$98.3 billion.
Wow.
Billion with a B.
Okay.
That's the number that Ontario's wagered in online betting last year.
$77,000 is gone, like evaporated in 4 years.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Hello, Sean.
Hello, Amy.
Nice to see you.
Likewise.
We're going to start with a number, a big number.
What's the number?
$98.3 billion.
Wow.
Billion with a B.
Okay.
That's the number that Ontario's wagered in online betting last year in 2025.
Don't say.
That has tripled in the last 3 years.
Why, do you think?
So it's actually interesting. So this is kind of the topic we're going to chat about today, is just online betting and how does that intersect in our world of what we do of long-term investing. So I do a lot of mentorship with the National Bank Women's Mentorship Program, where we go into these mentorship programs with university students. And what I love about it is you learn so much of what that generation thinks about money. And you know, every generation, it seems there's different trends and it's interesting, and I've learned so much from them. And one thing that just shocked me, like I could not get over, was the fact that online betting in that young generation, university age, is enormous. Like I'm talking, they're in class, tapping their phones, it's easy access, it's that dopamine hit. I just went, I had no idea. I didn't know it was a thing. So now we've kind of gone down the rabbit hole a little bit. And if you think about it, in Ontario, online betting became legalized in 2022, where we've opened it up to more private companies. Think about like DraftKings or BetMGM. Those types of companies have now come on. And you've seen this huge, enormous growth in it. Alberta's starting to trend in that direction. The other provinces do have online betting, but it's still government run. But that's an enormous amount of money. And I thought to myself, here we are, Sean. Let's talk about compounding and long term. I'm like, we're boring. I'm like, how do we compete with that?
Well, let's talk about that.
That's what we're going to get into.
So let's talk about the concept, you know, like bring in a little bit of neuroscience here, the concept of why losing can actually feel like winning.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, these games are designed to draw you in, create that excitement, make you feel like you're getting close to winning. And I told you this before, but my grandfather always told me something, and it always stuck in my brain. He's like, close doesn't count. Because I'd be like, oh, I'm so close. He's like, it doesn't count.
Well, it does in some cases.
What do you mean?
Well, horseshoes and grenades.
Oh, yeah.
I
guess so. Okay, fine. In those two. But in gambling, not so much. Close doesn't count. It's either you win or you lose.
Well, and I guess there's your brain psychologically activates in different environments. Yes. And apparently a near win, even though it's still a loss, gives you the same neurological response as an actual win. Yeah. Which is going to bring you back to the table to re-up your bet.
Yeah. Yeah, makes you feel like you're getting closer and closer. If you think about it, gaming in general has changed, right? If I think about when I was a kid playing these video games, there was always an end. It was a level, a completion, an end. Games today, like this addiction and drawing in and betting concept starts at a really young age now.
Well, let's back it up a step. So if you journey back 40, 50, 60 years, okay, the only places in North America really that you could gamble was Atlantic City and Las Vegas.
Right,
or actually Nevada.
Right.
But Las Vegas was your main gambling hub, and also Reno. So if you really wanted to gamble, think craps, poker, blackjack, etc., the slots, you really had to make an effort
to go and do it. Yeah.
Right? So it required some planning. Yeah. You had to take time off whatever you were doing to spend time down there and so forth. You journey to today, there's three things that jump out at me. One, technological enablement.
Yes.
That's enormous.
Enormous.
You can bet anything on your phone. Two, betting creativity.
I was going to say that. I was like, you can bet on anything now. Well, anything.
There's obviously sports betting is the largest betting market out there, okay? But also there's the prediction markets as well.
Yeah.
Which is concerning, by the way, if I back it up.
Or TikTok trades where they're like, throwing out a stock and they all kind of jump on, like they're all making the same bet.
Stocks, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So that's all forms of gambling. It's not, you're not thinking as a long-term Warren Buffett-like investment process.
Right.
But the third thing too is there's a downhill avalanche of, let's say, activity that's conspiring to get you to gamble more. So for instance, if you journey back 10, 15 years, the major sports leagues in North America, think Major League Baseball, the National Hockey League, especially the National Football League game. You remember that?
Yeah.
Remember the National Football League?
I know that one.
You know that now? They were actually very much against gambling. They technically prohibited gambling within their leagues. And again, so for instance, if you're in Nevada, you could bet the NFL. But it wasn't sanctioned by the NFL.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Well, now all those major sports leagues sanction gambling to the point where they're now partnering with online gambling companies. And they're actually, let's say, encouraging through their broadcasts betting.
It's true. So when kids are watching, I've got an 8-year-old, right? And he's highly into sports, and you see it. He's getting the ads. The other thing are these video games like Roblox. They create these activities that simulate gambling, like click the treasure chest and see what opens and then go to the next one. It really draws them in. It becomes highly addictive.
And the betting creativity, because of technological enablement, I'm going to go into the implication of this in a moment, where you can bet in game. Okay? That creates almost a nonstop sequence of opportunity to be betting in different manners.
Right.
Okay?
There's a lot of entertainment value that has gone into it.
So what happens then? Okay, you look at instant deposits, real-time betting, constant notifications, and so forth. You created a system, a dopamine addictive system, no different than sugar addiction, nicotine addiction, or anything, where basically losses can feel like progress.
Yeah, it's true.
And then progress feels good and then becomes addictive. Okay? Now, when you compare that to investing, investing is slow.
It's very slow.
It takes time. We're talking about compound annual returns, let's say between 6 and 11%, depending on how you're investing.
When we did our series on compounding, we talked about it's slow and then it's sudden, right? It's like a long period of time and then it happens, but it's hard to keep your attention attached to it.
And there's no instant feedback.
No.
And at the end of the day, what happens is your brain interprets this very simply as slow growth equals boring, fast feedback equals rewarding, even when the mathematics behind it says the opposite.
I know. So this is why we pound the table more than ever. It's so important to talk about the values you have around money to try to counteract this type of behavior.
So let's talk about the collision next. Debt meets gambling. Okay? And it's connecting the behavior to the reality of what you're dealing with. And so let's put some numbers around kind of what we're talking to. The average Ontarian, okay, now I think these numbers are pretty similar across Canada. They might differ a little bit whether it be in the Atlantic provinces or Alberta, but $77,000 is what the average Ontarian owns in what I would describe as consumer debt.
Consumer debt,
Now let's do a quick reminder. There's good debt and bad debt. Good debt is debt that you have that's basically levered against an asset that ought to appreciate in value over time, be it a business, your home, rental property, or an investment portfolio. Okay? Bad debt is when you invest in shirts, suits, Louis Vuitton handbags, shoes. Okay? Bad debt. So picture the average Ontarian, $77,000. Okay.
Yet our amount that we're putting into online gambling is increasing.
Right.
That's the collision.
So the issue is this: is that on the average interest rate you pay on consumer debt sits around 23% per year. Okay. So imagine investing $77,000. Where your negative compound rate of return is 23% per year. Your $77,000 is gone, evaporated in 4 years. Okay? So now you look at, all right, here you are, whenever you gamble, you're taking capital and you're allocating it to an area where your expected rate of return over the long run is zero. Absolutely zero. You're not. There's a reason why these companies are in business. There's a certain company originating in Las Vegas that tells you that you can make it legendary Well, legendary means no money over time.
It's true. You're literally investing with a very high likelihood, like very, very high, of a negative return.
The house always wins.
I know.
That's what they say.
So when we did...
There's a great movie by Martin Scorsese, Joe Pesci, Robert De Niro starring it. The movie's called Casino.
Right.
If you want to see how casinos work,
right.
Make no mistake, the online betting sites operate in the same fashion.
If not more.
The house always gets the money.
If not more. If you think about technology, how it learns your patterns and behaviors, it knows how to manipulate you.
So when you're betting, look, capital's scarce. Whether you make $20 million a year or $10,000 a year, whatever your number is, there's a scarcity aspect to it. So if you allocate capital in one direction, it can't be allocated in another direction.
Exactly.
So if you allocate from a betting perspective, and I'm not saying, look, I'm not virtue signaling here.
No, I'm not going to say you can't bet at all.
No, you just need to know what it is and what you're doing.
Exactly.
Okay? You're allocating capital in a direction where the odds of you making money over time are vastly against you.
100%.
Meanwhile, if you carry consumer debt, as the average Ontarian does, you're actually letting debt compound against you.
Yeah.
That, to
me...
Versus
when we did the math and we showed the math on compounding, we did a quick example. We said if Ava saves $400 a month starting at age 20, how much does she have earning a 7% rate of return by the age she's 60? Over $1 million. So with a high degree of likelihood of you becoming a millionaire, do that.
There's an old adage in business where if you're selling a money-losing product, right? The joke is, well, we'll just make it up in volume. Well, it doesn't work that way, right? And if you look at, for instance, some of the wealthiest people in the world, like I love using Warren Buffett because it's, just anecdotally, there's so much good stuff there. But Warren Buffett accumulated 99.7% of his net worth. Picture Warren Buffett net of, by the way, charitable contributions worth $120 billion.
Right.
99.7% of his net worth was accumulated after the age of 52. Right? Boring. But
boring.
He's done pretty good in life.
Boring works.
I don't know of a single, and I'll be really blunt, I don't know of a single billionaire that's become a billionaire from gambling.
Well, and it's your relationship with money, right? I told you the story. When I turned 18, money in our house was stressful, it was scarce. So we were always very cautious with money. We worked hard, we knew to save it. But when I turned 18, my mother said to me, here's $50. We're going to go. And there was a small town near our small town. We lived in the middle of nowhere. But there was a horse racetrack that we would go to. And they had a few slot machines. And she's like, we're going to go and we're going to go play. And I looked at her and I was like, I would rather keep the $50. And she's like, no, this is entertainment. We're going to do this. I swear to God, within 15 minutes, that $50 was gone. And I felt terrible. I didn't like it. And I'm like, what's the point of this? I could have invested that $50 at 18 and I would have been miles ahead. And that's what I've done since then, but...
Okay, well, you must have been just hitting at the cocktail party of me. I mean, I like, again, I'm not virtue signaling saying you can't bet. I do bet.
Exactly, but it's getting into the habit and knowing that in today's world, it is very easy. It's a very slippery slope that just a little bit here and there, just like we talk about compounding on the other side, it can compound very quickly up to the negative side.
I think on this issue, what debt meets gambling, I think, I'll close on this a little bit. You need to understand when you're making a bet, what you're up against. Okay?
Yeah.
When they when these betting houses set their lines, when they look at betting behavior, and by the way, they have all the data. Every time you register a bet anywhere, they know in aggregate what's going on. They have it all. And then you factor in or lay over AI into the whole process.
Oh, yeah.
They can nibble at you like no one's business in terms of what you're going to do.
Very sophisticated.
So you just need to understand that it's stacked against you in terms of what they're enticing you to do.
Right.
And that's fine.
Yep.
And if you're doing within reason, fine, but understand what you're walking away from, which we'll get into in a moment.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the fix.
So what do we do about it?
So here's the thing. We know now, or we knew before, but we definitely talked about it now. Gambling is successful, or gambling companies in the industry are successful because they give you real-time feedback, they trigger you on a continuous basis, and they give you, in your mind, instant feedback and rewards.
Yeah.
So how do you fight that? Because that is very tough psychologically to overcome.
Yeah, and it's thinking about like habit stacking, right? That the book Atomic Habits talks about well, when you get that urge, instead of like, I'm going to go and online gamble, go into your bank account and make a deposit into your TFSA. Like set up a new habit to replace the old one.
So your trigger replacement.
Exactly, exactly. That can really help. Setting up and automate things, right? So we talked a lot about that. It's hard to get into the habit. Yes, if to your point, if you want to do a little, work pool or a little, entertainment value, sure, not a problem. But where in your habit are you paying your future self first? Yeah. So automate that. Have it right out of your bank account, going into either TFSA, FHSA, whatever bucket. Just make that habit happen because I'm telling you now that compounding, yes, it's slow and boring. It will make you millions if you do it early.
And if you automate it to the extent you can, and there's all sorts of venues in which you can do this,
100%.
You're going to reduce your decision fatigue.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you focus on what's most important, which it might be your career, your education, your family, all these things that are super, super important.
And I think I'll just add, if you're a parent, be aware of this. I know I was shocked when I heard it, and as a parent, I'm now in tune to even looking at the little thing. Even though he's only 8 and the other one's 5, you can see how the system is it's training them early. So talk to them about the importance of delayed gratification. You want that thing? Let's wait a day. Let's earn it. Let's figure out something else so that they learn to train themselves not to become addicted to that type of stuff.
And learn to adjust your data feedback.
Yeah.
So that investing does become fun. So I'll give an example. Track your net worth. Maybe not necessarily monthly, but quarterly is fine.
Yeah.
And then also turn investing into a bit of a game if you can. I'll give you an example. There's a close friend of mine in the industry. You know who he is. And him and I every year, because there's a myriad of things within our organization that we can use to enhance our net worth. Well, my friend and I, every year when we set our parameters under our savings, our savings goals, we compete.
Yeah, who's going to save more?
we're on Microsoft Teams.
We did that this year too. I noticed we did that.
So we're on Microsoft Teams, and we're literally going, okay, I'm going to put in for this metric 7, and then Mark goes, I'm going to put in 8. I'm like, so I put in 8, and so we set it all up, and then we actually monitor how our investments are doing, and we do track our net worth, and now that has totally shifted for
100%.
me. I get more enjoyment and gratification out of that
100%.
And by the way, again, I'm not virtue signaling here. I have gambled. I have lost. Not a lot, by the way, relatively speaking, but I've been at the blackjack tables and been historically bad at it.
Yeah.
Right? Like I have. I mean, I remember when I went to Las Vegas the first time, I just graduated university. I went down with like $500 or something like that. I had the hotel room paid for, by the person I was dating at the time, her father. And I thought it was just really huge. I went to the blackjack tables and I lost all my money within like 10 minutes.
I know, it's crazy.
And I had to call my mother to flush my bank account so I could actually afford food. I've been there. But the thing is, I've never lost to the extent where it's cost me assets. It's cost me relationships.
Yeah.
And then also over time, what's happened is the fun and the adrenaline kick of gambling has now been replaced by what we just talked about, which is net worth, savings. That excites me far more
100%.
than the short-term dope ahead of gambling.
Yeah, 100%. So try that instead.
$50 and you got sick at your stomach at a slot machine.
It was terrible. It wasn't fun. It was dark. It was dingy. There was nothing enjoying about it. Anyways.
Amy's mother, this is to you. I know you did your best, but oh boy.
But I think if you like this type of content, like, subscribe, follow us. But it's all about the small changes that lead to the big gains. And that's what it's all about.
Stay wealthy, everybody.